Hello everybody, my name is TrAin and I wanted to give you my top 10 video games that I have played. First, at number 10, UFC 3. I personally loved the mechanics of this game. I was a middle rank at this point. This was really the first game that I was good at competitively. I was a champion at one point in the division, and I believe it was Division 4, so not like super impressive, but I was a champion. I did defend my title a couple times. It was cool. And then UFC 4 came out, and I didn't quite enjoy the series as much. At number 9, Punch-Out for the Nintendo Wii. This came out in 2009, and I played this game a lot when I first got it. It was such a cool game, and I regretfully never finished it. But it was one of my favorite Nintendo Wii games. Now, I wouldn't be making this video if it weren't for Tekken 7. I started making YouTube content again after a long break. I didn't want to play the games I was playing, and then I started playing Tekken 7 and had a really good time with it. At number 7, Mortal Kombat XL, one of the games that I started playing with my best friend in high school. You know, this was one of the best fighting games in my opinion, and it still is. It had really high quality mechanics. I liked how fast it was, and the roster was pretty much perfect except for 1 or 2 DLC characters. That was one of my favorite fighting games. Speaking of fighting games, at number 6, Tekken 2. It wasn't the first fighting game I played, but it was the first traditional one, and it was really the one that kind of broke me in with fighting games and just like my absolute adoration for them. I upload fighting game videos now, and Tekken 2 is kind of the reason why I love them so much and why I play them now. At number 5 is a game that a lot of you might not remember or even know about, called Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth. This was a game designed by EA Games in 2004. It was a real-time strategy game for PC. And I haven't really found a real-time strategy game that I've liked since, because I didn't have the connection with it that I had with the Lord of the Rings. It was my dad's game originally. Like, my dad was playing it when he first showed me, and I played it a lot. It's one of my dad's favorite games, and I believe it was actually my first video game that I played. It was a very, very, very cool experience, and I miss it, and I love it. At number 4, we have Street Fighter 6, the most recent installation of the famous arcade 2D fighting franchise. It is also one of the most balanced vanilla fighting games. Fight me about it. I love the entire roster. The gameplay is great. I mean, it's a Capcom staple in gameplay design. It's one of the best fighting games that I've ever played, and it was definitely worthy of Fighting Game of the Year. At number 3, Star Wars: The Clone Wars Lightsaber Duels. I might be the only person in the world who remembers this game. Simplified a combat system for the ability to play as your favorite Clone Wars characters. And I remember that I knew a bunch of like combos from different characters, and that was so I would say it's the first fighting game that I learned. I know it's probably a deep dig for a lot of people, but I really enjoyed it. At number 2, my second favorite game of all time, Elden Ring. Game of the Year in 2022, and I believe well deserved. It's exactly the game that I wanted as a kid. I think that everybody should play it because it's a really, really, really gorgeous, unbelievably well-made game. Speaking of which, I am going to be making a YouTube video all about Elden Ring. I am very much looking forward to the content coming, so you should please follow me on TikTok so you can get updates about my new videos. You can also go subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can watch all my new content as it comes out. Thank you. I appreciate you. Before I get to my top pick of my favorite video games of all time, I would like to talk about a couple of honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention that I have is a PC port from 2007 of the classic board game Risk. And I was kind of trying to figure out like what version of the game that I had been playing. In my research, I had found that there was a 1996 version for PC made by Atari. That wasn't right. Like, the graphics didn't match what I remembered. So then I kept digging, and I eventually found that there was a 2007 version which did match my memory as a kid, and it was just like a nostalgia trip, like crazy. It was insane, and I miss it. And then, of course, I cannot forget, but it's a game called Northgard, and it's a very cool 4X RTS game that I've put a good chunk of hours into. It's an indie company, they designed it, and it's a really, really, really clean and polished game, and I really enjoy it. I think it's cool. And at my number 1 spot, The Force Unleashed, specifically for the Nintendo Wii. So I played this game so many times, and I beat it like 15 or 16 times as a kid probably, and this was before I had a lot of patience. This is a game that I would put in and I would play for hours as a kid. I just think it's my favorite game of all time. It's probably one of the games that I've poured the most time into. Most franchises don't get the amount of time that I spent in this one game. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, please like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Fight me.